All right, guys. Just want to let me take the next couple minutes to see what is the difference for my different platforms are, just to make sure that we are live and every one of you can hear me. All right, if you are seeing me from if you're attending based on the different platforms, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or even on Zoom, perhaps now is the best time to let me know if you can see me and hear me well. Okay, I would love for you guys to join me now and come in. All right. So let's just give some time for the rest before we commence sharply at 7:30 p.m. Okay. So we do this weekly live every Tuesday. All right. So what the main objective is always to allow more busy professionals and homeowners, we are so occupied with work, with family, and many a times we kind of missed out on the ability to understand property and to bridge the knowledge. So my intention in this group and doing these live sessions is purely to educate every one of us to understand what is the knowledge gap that we all have and to learn it at the same time so that when we make our own decisions in property, we can make a better one. All right. So for the rest of you who are still coming in or you're getting a notification right now, well, do come in and I really hope that I can, catch up with you guys and you can use this platform to actually ask questions regarding property. All right. So if you can hear me and see me well, just comment on the different platforms so that I can acknowledge you. And I really thank you guys for spending the time. So let me just do a quick check on my own platform to see is the audio and visual well. Okay, cool. Let's see. So I'm running on different platforms. So in case you are following me on different areas, whether it's Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, to just comment in the chat or in the comment section so that I know that you can hear me and see me well. If not, I'll be just talking to myself for the next 1 hour without realizing. Okay, cool. It seems like we are properly done. All right, so now it's 7:30 sharp, and I mentioned that it will be always comments on time. And first of all, thank you so much for taking this an hour of your time out on this Tuesday evening. All right, so as I mentioned, we do this weekly live stream every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. And the main reason is to allow more busy professionals and homeowners, spending just an hour of your time to get updated about property. And if let's say you have any questions regarding property, you can also take this chance to share with us what is your questions, what are the problems you are facing. And at the end of the session, we will take some time to actually acknowledge all the questions that we can. All right. All right. So we do this every single Tuesday, 7:30. And of course, on days, if let's say I have busy with work, I have some certain consultations with clients, then I will definitely inform every one of you earlier in the group that I will have to postpone the date to another time or we will be postponed to the next week, but I will definitely let you know in advance when I'm going to do it. All right. So for the many of you, if you have yet to be in our property private group, right, now's the best chance for you guys later on to actually join in so that we can actually guide you guys on property matters. So one of the key things that today I really want to kind of give you guys a heads up of what today is about. All right. So recently I've actually met a client who was introduced, all right, by another common friend. And one of the reasons why she reached out is because she has certain difficulty understanding about property. And unfortunately, all right, a friend actually introduced her to purchase a certain type of property, okay, that potentially is a huge mistake. And we are not talking about a small mistake. We're talking about a $1.45 million property mistake. Okay, so I'm going to kind of give you guys an overview later on what happened, and at the same time, what we as busy professionals and homeowners are able to learn from this entire experience. All right, so in a short while, I'll be also sharing my screen, and I will purely for this an hour, I want to add on a lot more value to you guys. And the main objective is so that we can learn more things about property. All right, so I just want to give you guys a quick overview about what is happening in the marketplace as well. I think this is very crucial for many of us to understand. So give me a second while I share my screen. Okay. And if you can still continue to see me and hear me well after I share the screen, do let me know. Okay, so this is very crucial. You don't want to attend the session and then you can't see me or even see the screen. Okay, let me just do this. Okay. All right. You should be able to see my screen right now. Okay. And at the same time, if let's say today, most of you who are here with me, you wanted to actually understand more about what is happening in the property market. All right. So every information that I'm doing right now is purely from a, let me see. Actually, wait, give me a second. Let me do this again. I think there's some interruptions on my end. I just want to make sure that things are in order. Okay, cool. I think this is better. Okay, this is better. Okay, so one of the key things that I always share is that today, well, whatever I'm actually sharing with you guys are, of course, the disclaimer is you still have to do certain of your own information and research before we actually continue. Right. So, oops, give me a second. New tech. That's why there's always some. All right, just want to give you guys, if let's say today you are joining me and you are owning a HDB at the moment, I just want to give you a quick overview in 5 minutes, what is happening to the HDB market at the moment. All right, as you can see, right now, we are actually on the 2022 period where the price index for HDB actually went up about 155.7%. And this is a drastic growth since 2020. All right, so the advantage of, let's say today you are owning a HDB, the advantage that you have right now is that your property prices potentially has already overcome the 2013 peak, okay, in the past. So I've actually have many clients that actually approach us that during this period where this is the kind of the bottom period, right, in HDB, and they wanted to do some upgrades because of their children's moving schools, or they wanted a different bigger space or a different lifestyle in a different location. But unfortunately, because of this downtrend, okay, when we were checking their value of the property, we realized the value has not grown much. Okay, and indirectly, it's actually a negative sale. Okay, unfortunately, it was a negative sale. Unfortunately, all right. So then from there, give me a second. Let me just make sure that this is all in order. Sorry. So pardon for those who are joining me on the different platforms. I just want to make sure that you guys are getting this right. Okay, you should be able to hear me right now. Okay. Thanks for my guys who actually let me know about this situation. All right. I just want to make sure that every one of us here are in order. Cool. All right. So yeah, so right now the entire HDB market trend is actually on an upward trend. Okay, so for the couple of years when many of them who wanted to actually join in and they wanted to sell their property, they were unable to do because of the negative sale. So this is what happened. So eventually today, let's say you have looked back in your property trend for the last 5 to 7 years, you have realized that your property prices would have eventually went up. Okay, it went up, and potentially it could go back to almost the same prices as what you have purchased back in 2013. If let's say you have bought your property in 2013, all right. So this is why at this current moment we are seeing a lot of families, they are kind of cashing out their property unit so that they can do an upgrade or maybe move to a bigger property. All right. So today, if let's say you have anyone who is actually holding on to HDB and you have been thinking about upgrading for the past 5 to 7 years, and you did not because of the negative sale, very scary, the negative sale. All right. Maybe now is the best time to actually kind of review your property performance and what kind of plans are you looking out for in the future. And that's when we are able to kind of do some adjustments. Okay. So this is, of course, the HDB market. All right. So one of the key things that I want to give you guys a quick overview is also to let you understand that today, the first of all, when we come and ask ourselves to do an upgrade from a HDB to a private, right, there's only two types of property that we have to understand. We have to ask ourselves, okay, why am I sharing with you from a HDB to a private property? Because all this has to do with why my client made the $1.45 million mistake. Okay, in the end, I will be sharing with you. I want to set certain context so you understand what is it when I'm sharing with you. All right, fair? All right, if it's fair, can just type in fair so that I know that you're responding. All right, so many of us, when we are going for a private property, right, there's only two types of properties that we have to be aware of, which is one is the resale market. Okay, why are we buying the resale market? So let us ask ourselves, today, if let's say you have a choice to buy a private property and you want to buy a resale, why do you want to buy a resale? Come on, let's see some of your comments along the way. Okay, so if let's say today you have a choice and you want to buy a private property, why would you want to buy in the resale? Okay, so after consulting thousands of households, right, and advising them over the past decade, more than a decade, right, I realized that there are a few key components when it comes to resale property. And mainly, these are what most consumers are looking out for when they go for resale property. All right. So if any one of these points resonate with you when you're looking at a resale property, feel free to just type in what you see. Okay. So first of all, they like it because why? Size is bigger. All right. So the older properties are usually always bigger than what we are seeing right now. And of course, based on comparison, the prices are also cheaper. Okay. And I think us being buying a 6-figure, 7-figure kind of property, right? We definitely have to touch and feel like, we cannot just, we're very uneasy for us to just buy from a piece of paper. So typically, a lot of people, when they look into resale, these are few factors. And of course, it's a real thing. All right, you can physically touch it. Oh, this building is up already. You know how to walk. You know where the lift is. You know how the space are. All these are very real. And of course, one of the most important factor why they like is because it is immediate. Meaning when I buy, I think within a 3 months, 4 months period, I'll be able to move in, do my renovation. So this is one of the reason why, one of the few reasons why many likes to buy into resale property. All right, so now the question is, right, so if let's say you are considering resale, so then why aren't you considering new properties? Okay, we're talking about new properties that is not ready yet. Okay, why are you not looking into new properties? All right, come, let's see some answers. All right, if let's say today you are buying a private property and you are considering resale, okay, you know what are the parts about resales, but then why are you not looking into new launches? Okay, why? So these are some of the reasons. If you can resonate, just type in one. Okay, so usually the new ones, people complaining why smaller. Okay, and then they complain, wow, this one very expensive, compared, wow, very high, prices very high, PSF very high, but small. You see, then why am I paying so much for so small? You see, so these are very, very common concerns, right, from homeowners and busy professionals like us. And of course, the one of the key thing is that there's only a model, or the most is a show flat. Okay, nowadays they don't even have, some of them don't even have both. It's all virtual tours. Okay, so how are we able to buy a property that is 7 figures just from a virtual thing, or even a piece of paper, or just a model? So many who are not in property, they are unable to accept. All right, because ultimately a property is still buying for homestay, you see. Yeah, so many of them they cannot accept. And of course, one of the other thing is that, today I want to buy a house because I want to stay in. I want to be an owner immediately. So I want to buy and keep and straight away move in. All right, but if I buy the new one, I have to wait. Some of the current ones you have to wait until maybe even 4 to 5 years. Okay, of course, you can actually buy those that is almost ready. Some of them maybe the shortest wait could be about 6 months to maybe even a year, depending on the project. All right. So how many of you can agree that today, when you are looking at the properties for private or even new properties, these are the few concerns and questions that you will ask yourself before you decide? Thank you so much for your response. I really appreciate you guys are joining me live here. As for those who are the first time here with me, I also want to acknowledge you for joining me on this weekly Tuesday live stream. All right, so being in this private community allows you to gain access to the latest information, latest strategies, and of course, most importantly, how the information and the knowledge are able to help you make a better decision in your property to make 6 figures profits in your property. I think this is what we want to do. All right, so let us just study. Okay, so remember today, my friends, if today you are just buying a property and then you don't want to think so much, by all means, no problem. You can just based on your own criteria. Where you stay before, where you're familiar before, or what's your budget, and then you just go and purchase. Okay, you no need me one actually when you want to buy a property. Or I think you can be quicker, you can be faster, and you'll be more knowledgeable as well. Because why? You just go to Property Guru, click filter, everything come out. You just spend every single weekend, go over to see all the units yourself. Okay, no problem one. Or you can, every weekend, you can just arrange 3 to 4 units every single weekend you see. You see until you're happy. You see until you see something you fall in love with, then you buy. So actually, you no need us, okay, to actually help you to plan, help you to direct, because buying a property is very easy. How many of you agree buying a property is very easy? Okay, it's always very easy. But how we are able to help you in your property journey is to look at how are you going to sell your properties in future. Why? Because we want to make six-figure profits. Okay, this is our objective. Okay, today, if you don't want to look at six-figure profits, fine. You can just go and buy anything you want. Go on Guru, look out for any agents. They will just sell you whatever you want to buy. Okay, very straightforward. But today, if you have the intention to use property as a form of instrument to grow your wealth much faster, or even to kind of save for retirement so that you have a better lifestyle in future, and you want to make six-figure profits from your property, then you must always understand this statement. Today, when you are buying a property, remember, buying a property is very easy. What you need to look at is how are you going to sell your property. Okay, only by selling, then you are able to unlock the property profits. Okay, how many of you agree? If you agree, just type in agree. All right. So, like I said, we have done this over a decade, and we have helped hundreds of families out there to really structure their property plans, property portfolios, to ensure that your journey is not only a one-time journey. Right? We are talking about 5-10 years down the road. You know, what is the next plan that you want to go for? And that's why in our private consultations, when we do with our clients, they get very specific solutions tailor-made to them. Okay, and I think this is very, very crucial. All right, so let us just study, like, let's say today, I want every one of you to kind of tune your minds a little bit. Today, our objective is what? Our objective is to make six figures profit in our property. Okay, this is the objective. So when we have a certain key objective that we want to aim for, then our criteria will have to change. Okay, our criteria cannot be just basing on, well, what I like, how I see it, or it don't make sense to me. Wow, this place like not so good. I'm not familiar this area, then I don't buy. Okay, it's a totally different criteria. So I just want to give you a quick overview. It's the same thing as my client, who actually was introduced by the friend, right? And later on, I'll share with you all a little bit more story. But the context of it is that she's looking out to purchase a property. Okay, she's out to buy a property, and then her friend was like, "Oh, why not you look at this property?" Then next week, why don't you go and look at this property? Then of course, my this client is a first-time buyer, you know, unaware of what property is about. Of course, we'll listen to the friend, right? It's very, very common. Oh, because my friend is advising me. I think my friend is an expert. I think he knows everything. Why not listen to him? All right. So that's when she also went on the search based on the friend's recommendation. Okay, how many of you have heard maybe your friends or your colleagues, close ones, also do the same thing when somebody tell them about property? Then they say, "Oh, wow, this one very good. Oh, let's just go and listen and let us see what happens." So she also went through the same thing. Okay, later on I'll share with you a little bit more in details. I just want to give you guys an overview, right? Right now today, if we are looking at making six-figure profits, right, the first thing that you must always be aware of is to look at trends. Okay, trends are very important. Okay, if you look at the resale, right, at the moment, you can see that the resale average growth over the last couple of years. Okay, all right. So you should be able to actually acknowledge that today, since 2011 to 2022, 21, right, the growth rate is actually from 1,001 to maybe about 1,004. Okay, and this is on average the prices pertaining to a resale and a new launch. Okay, so this is the difference. So then one thing that you must understand is that therefore the same time frame where the new launch property is crossing about 1,199. Okay, this is 1,199. Over time, it has ran up to even 2,248 per square feet. So what does this mean to us as homeowners? All right, it allows us to know that today, if let's say I'm given the same amount of time, let's say 10 years, all right, do you want to move faster or do you want to move slower? All right, this is the objective, all right, which is why our intention whenever we advise our clients is how can we shorten your lifespan for your property? Okay, how can we make the most in the shortest period of time? That is our objective. Because if you want to make money in property, actually not difficult. You just buy, you keep 20, 30 years. How many of you agree sure make money? Right? Yeah, correct. Sure make money one, right? Yeah, but that one everybody also know how to do, ma. I just buy and then I keep lor. I don't need to do anything, I keep. But when it comes to, let's say I want to make the same amount of money in a shorter period of time, we're talking about maybe 3 years, 5 years, or even 8 years down the road. How can we do this systematically and predictably? That one needs skills lah. Or that one needs skills and research, right? Also, that's what our objective for our clients is always, how can we speed up your process of making money in property safely? Yeah, we're not talking about unorthodox way, wow, very risky. No, we're talking about very, very safe approach on that. How can we do it? Okay, so this is very, very crucial. So one of the element that you must understand is that today I'm just sharing with you from an average perspective. So also I want to also guide you on like to go in a little bit deeper. Okay, so let's say today, right? If I look at the different zone for a new property, right? So this is new sales, new sales, and then of course property is split into different zones, ma. We're talking about the blue color one, which is CCR. All right, this is the CBD area. And then we have the orange color, which is RCR. RCR is, we call it the city fringe. And then of course we have the OCR. This is, in layman term, is mass market. Okay, so today you must have the ability, right, to also break down whatever information that you have, and then you look into the different zones, because you cannot compare, let's say, a Pasir Ris property, okay, with Tiong Bahru. You cannot do that kind of comparison. It will be inaccurate altogether. Right? So you must always understand that today, if you are having the wrong information, wrong data, you may be also buying the wrong type of property. Or worse is, if you don't even have data, you don't even do research, then will your chances of making mistake higher or lower? I think this question, you will know yourself the answers. All right, so when we do a comparison, we can also understand that today, if you look at all the different zones, right, let's say from the CCR perspective, this is core area. We're talking about year on year, about 8.7% growth every year, okay? And the city fringe is about 12%. Okay, this is RCR. And then on the mass market is about 7.8%. Okay, why am I using a lot of numbers, percentage? Because today buying a property is not just about guessing anymore. Okay, if today if 20, 30 years ago, you guess any property you buy, chances are you will still make money. Okay, how many of you agree that today, if you are guessing your way through property, it's a very, very high risk game? Okay, because we're talking about anytime 6-7 figures property, it's the biggest ticket item that you ever purchase. And do you want to count on just second guessing your way into buying? I think that's very risky lah. So why we want to run through data and numbers? Because this provides us as a guide. Okay, it provides us as a strategy that we can look into. So if you can look at it, new sales, their growth perspective easily is always 8% and more. But let us compare to a resale type of properties right now. The same zone, okay? The same zone. This is CCR, RCR, and OCR. All right. So of course, for right now, the growth for the CCR portion is a little bit lower. Okay, but this is of course since second quarter of 2021. This has already increased. The latest since 2022. Okay, it has already went up. Whereas if let's say we use back on the same data or on the same timeline, we are talking about that the average growth factor for resale has always been slower. Okay, it has always been slower. So it's the same questions that you ask. Oh, when it's slow, then does it mean that I'll lose money? Okay, the question is, you will not lose money in Singapore for property. Okay, but you lose the opportunity and time to make more. Do you agree? Right. So it's never, oh wow, you buy this lousy property, wow, wrong property. No, there's never wrong or right property. It's just a matter of, am I using the same time frame to make the most out of my own capability, my own age, my own loan capability? I think that is very, very crucial. So I just want to take this chance, right, to share with you guys a little bit of, what happened to the client of mine. Okay, because today the situation is this way. She has actually gotten information from friends. Okay, from friends like, oh, actually you're looking at buying property. So let me give you some context, okay, an overview. All right, so she's actually what do you call it? Let me just maybe stop my screen here as well. Okay, all right. So she's actually a single lady. All right, she has a very, very good job, and she has not been looking at properties because she has been busy. So the recent couple of months, she wanted to actually get her first property. And the intention is actually to maybe buy and then stay with the mom. Okay, the mom is also staying, the mom is actually staying in East Side, okay, one of the HDB. So of course, being a older parent, age is catching up. Of course, her desire is that she also wants to make sure that everything is okay with her, right? So she wants to actually move her and stay together. So that's her intention. So when she shared this with a common friend that she has, well, this is at least what I know. Of course, the friend was telling me that, was telling her that, today you want to buy this, or you should buy this X property, B property, Y property, C property, a lot of all this opinion. And of course, if let's say today you are someone new in the property market, right? How many of you agree that you will actually like just listen, okay, listen, and then maybe you go online and do some property guru research and then see, wow, this one in the east, very near to me, leh. Wow, then what happened? Over the weekend, you will go and view, right? Usually it's like, you make arrangement with the agents, then you go and view. So this is how usually the sequence works. Then over time, when meet out more with the friend, then the friend say, hey, why not you see this? Why not you see that? You see Y. Then after that, what? You go and see Q. You go and see B. You go and see E. So many different type of property. So of course, we are not saying that this is wrong. Okay, well, I think from the friend's perspective, I'm sure he also has good intentions for her. Okay, and when the friend was like, hey, got recommended, because you are also doing businesses, maybe you should look at this certain type of properties to purchase. Okay, so let me ask every one of you, right? Let's say today you want to buy a property to stay with your mom. Okay, a comfortable property like in the east side. Okay, and at the same time, you also wanted to use some of the space to use it for your own business. Okay, to use it for your own business like an office space. On top of your mind, what type of property should you be going for? Right? Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. Okay, we are all here learning. So I'm monitoring on the different platforms what information you're sharing. Okay. Yeah. So I'm seeing that many of you have shared different answers with me. Yeah. So like I said, so some of you were saying that can buy a HDB. Yeah, I mean absolutely right. You can buy a HDB, right? And then you have big enough space. Maybe one of the room you can actually use it for your office space. Also no problem. All right. So some of you say they just buy a resale. All right. So of course, when the friend knows about her situation, he was actually suggesting, hey, why not you go and buy a dual key property? Okay, buy a dual key property. So if in case you don't know what is a dual key is, for example, if you buy a 3-bedroom dual key, 2 bedrooms will be one side. Okay, you have your own entrance to this 2-bedroom, and then you have another 1-bedroom separate entrance for the 1-bedroom studio side, which once you combine together, it becomes a 3-bedroom dual key. All right, so this dual key concept has been quite popular for the last 8 years or so. All right, because why? A lot of people, they like to buy, they can rent out the space, they are paying a lesser mortgage arrangement. That's why they prefer to buy this kind of properties. But of course, over time, what we have seen is a change in terms of the lifestyle, the buyers decision making process also change, and consumers are getting smarter lah. So that's why right now we are not seeing as much of a hype over dual key, because first of all, they are usually priced more premium than the usual properties. And later on, I will share with you why is this important for you to actually understand. Okay. So when the friend was sharing, hey, you should go and buy a dual key property. And that's why she really go and search. All right. She go and search, and then she found she really found, and she went to see, after almost every week went to see, and she spotted one. She spotted one that she kind of like really want to buy already. Okay, really want to buy already. And she said that, this one, she kind of self-justify, like, this one makes sense. Or then she keep telling the friend, I saw something, should I buy? Keep asking. So usually when anyone who at the last minute still haven't purchased the property is because you are still very unsure of whether this is a good purchase for yourself or not. Usually it's this way. Of course, we are not saying that she's wrong, okay, but there are certain doubts still that she has not overcome. And she's basically buying everything based on her decisions and her own understanding of property. Whereas the friend, the friend is not a property expert, right? But it's just a friend who introduced her that, oh, maybe you can just go and buy into this. Basically, it's the friend's opinion. So if today, if let's say I ask you to buy a property based on somebody's opinion, who is not an expert in property, how many of you will very, very open your arms and welcome this person to guide you along to purchase a property? How many of you will feel very confident that the property that you're going to buy is going to help you, whether it's to make money, save money, or maybe this property can actually sell in future? How many of you will be very confident to do so if it's not true, if it's through this friend? Okay, of course, like I mentioned, I'm not saying that this friend is wrong, or of course, with certain knowledge, of course, you are able to share your opinion, share your views about certain property. All right, so of course, when she saw this one current property, later I'm going to share with you exactly which one is she actually going for. All right, and she was going for it, and then she was like, should I or not? Should I or should I not? All right. So during that time before she make a decision, that's when she actually reached out to us. Okay, she found us. Somehow she reached out to us, explained the entire situation. And then while we were going through some of all this on the call, when I was on the call with her, right, she was also telling me, hey, the agent texted me, because she saw a resale property, right? Resale, which is a dual key property. And then, hey, the agent keep texting me. Wow, the agent tell me, oh, got somebody want to buy already. Ask me to quickly put in an offer. How many of you have saw maybe some of your friends, colleagues, families, or even close ones got this kind of sales call one? Okay, so you just have to imagine, if let's say you are her and you saw this one property that can maybe fulfill whatever you want, and this agent is kind of pushing you like, hey, somebody want to offer already. You want to buy or not? You want to buy or not? How many of you will feel good buying this property? Okay, perhaps most of us, most of the people will kind of just buy in now. Oh, somebody want to offer already, I want to buy. All right, so there's a FOMO effect that, of course, it's a sales tactic. I think everybody is smart enough to actually understand it's a sales tactic. Of course, I can't say that it's not true. Okay, because I won't know, right? I'm not the person selling the property. So maybe it's a sales tactic, maybe it's not. I don't want to judge. But today, I want to share with every one of you here is that if today a property is really that good, do you really need to chase the buyer to purchase a property? Okay, ask yourself. Okay, I'm not saying that the agent is wrong, but I'm just saying that in this context, all right, so while she's actually on the call with me, the agent keep pressing her. If you don't buy today, if tomorrow the other party buy already, then nothing for you already, nothing for you already, okay. But I think because I know this lady, right, she has certain concerns still regarding this property. We're not saying this property is no good, but I can hear it over the phone call that she has certain concerns that has not been addressed. That is why she haven't buy the property. Okay, so this is a very sweet spot of a crossroad. Okay, while somebody is pressurizing her to purchase, I want to understand why is this property selected, which is why I'm able to understand all this information. And what I did with her is whatever I'm sharing with you to let her see it clearer about what this property is about. All right, so let me just share my screen in a short while. Give me a second. Let me just do this sharing again. All right, so I'm very transparent in my sharing. All right, I have nothing to hide because I want every one of us to learn in this situation. Okay, and by learning from somebody else's situation, maybe we are able to actually do it much better too. Okay. All right. So in this sense, right, if you can see, right, sorry, give me a second. Let me do this and do this. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you can look at this, right, the one of the key thing, oops, let me adjust this a little bit. You guys can't see the screen. Yeah. All right. So if you can see, right, from what we have done, what she wanted to purchase. Okay, this is what she wanted to purchase. Okay, what she wanted to purchase is a property in the east side, okay, which is called Trail Residences. All right, so this property is a 99-year leasehold since 2014. All right, within the District 14 area. Okay, so this property has around 250 units. All right, so one thing that she wanted to purchase was actually a 4-bedroom dual key. So as I'm shared with you, right, what does a 4-bedroom dual key means? Meaning it's a 3-bedroom plus a 1 bed on the other end. And both of the property will have their own private entrances. Okay, and this property, take note, the size is 947 square feet and the asking price is about 1.5 million. How many of you right now, if I give you this basic information, it makes a lot of sense that you are buying a 4-bedroom at only 1.5 million? How many of you agree? This is like a very, very good purchase. All right. And I also want to share with you where this location is, just to give you a better sense of where the location is. Okay. So the location is actually right here. And it's only maybe about 5 minutes to the MRT. Very convenient area. Okay. One stop upwards, you are in Paya Lebar. Very convenient. Okay. And you're one stop downwards, you are in Kallang. So you're basically just maybe 5 to 6 bus stops. You can reach town, Suntec City, all these areas really. All right. So it's a very convenient location. And especially the MRT is there. Okay. The MRT is there. Okay. So this is why she's very excited. She was like, wow, this one fits everything. It's near where my mom stays in Kembangan. You know, I don't need to travel so far to find her. She can come and visit me. It's still near the MRT. Wow, because I don't drive, I can take the MRT to work anytime. And she works in CBD area, right? And if I take take an MRT upwards, I can go to Paya Lebar Square. There's so much food. I can watch movie there. You know, kind of everything fits into somebody who wants to buy a property and stay. How many of you, if today I ask you to pay this 4-bedroom unit at $1.5 million only, you will jump straight into it? Okay, we're not saying that you shouldn't. Okay, I'm just sharing with you from a normal purchaser perspective. That is what we always do. Okay. Wow, this one very nice. Wow, very high floor. Wow, very big. I buy. Wow, so near this, so near that, amenities, I buy. Okay, very common. We're not saying that this is wrong. All right. So of course, what is our objective? Our objective is make 6-figure, right? Okay, our objective is make 6-figure. All right, so then that's where I guide the research team and me. We guided her on understanding what is happening first. All right, so yes, we don't disagree that Three Residences is a very good location project. Everything is nearby, you know. But before you even do anything, you may want to do some comparison around the surrounding properties. So during our research, we saw one property that is, we call this Sim Urban Oasis. Okay, if I draw out the map, right, do you agree that Sim Urban Oasis is actually further away from the MRT? Right, it's further away from MRT, right? All right, it's at least double the time. And this one is near the PRE Expressway. So if you look at from a basic surface fundamental, right, will Sim Urban Oasis actually be better than Three Residences? Okay, both of them are almost similar in terms of location, you know, surrounding also a little bit different. Okay, so if let's say we just based on this factor, how many of you agree that Three Residences is actually a better purchase? All right, feel free to share. All right, like I say, my sessions are always interactive. So then, of course, we want to make 6 figures, right? This is the core idea, and that's why that's why we go into the data to determine. So when we pull out certain data, right? So this is Three Residences information. We realize ever since 2015 until today, okay, 2015 until today, the growth rate is only 0.18%. So today it means if you buy a 1,000 per square foot unit, okay, and over the 7 years, you'll probably just grow at 0.2%. How much is that growth translating to? 0.2. It's not even 2%. Also, if you own a $1 million property, 0.2, we're talking about what, 20,000? 0.1002, right? 102 million, 20,000, right? You're just making 20,000 over the next 7 years. And we are not talking about even your interest, your mortgage loan, your stamp duty, or your renovation that you put in, nothing. So this is 0.2. But when we do this comparison to another property, which is Sim Urban Oasis, we realize that over the same period of time, you can see that this property grow at least 20%. Which means today, if I buy a $1 million property, my property will have already grown up to $1.2 million property. How many of you are surprised and shocked to see the trend this way? All right, so remember, property is not just about one direction. There's a lot of element inside property. And if you do a wrong move, right, potentially you're going to be, you know, stuck in that property for a while. And this is the truth because we have seen it many times before. And when we run this data, right, we also share with them. It's like today, because why? Why? How come Sims, although it's further away, right, it's not so accessible. It's nearer to the PIE, which means noise. and whereas three residences, which is so near to the MRT, your amenities are closer, but yet you are not performing. So the key question is why? Why is this happening? Okay, this is where when we do this initial assessment, when I run through my client, and I was sharing with her that, hey, the numbers don't make sense really. Because today, both properties, your property is already not growing at only 0.2%. What is the potential of the property growing quicker as the age grows? Okay, means even if you keep for 5 years, 10 years, as the age gets older, what is the chances of the property getting more or less? Which one has a higher chance? All right, that's when she actually, over our discussion, she kind of paused and really think through. On the other end, the agent keep pestering her still. Okay, every now and then she will like, "How, Edmund? This agent keep saying that somebody want to buy already. Should I buy or not? Should I buy or not?" There's always a lot of this kind of concern and fear. So I told her very straightforward: you can buy, but are you prepared that your property don't grow in future? As long as you can accept that your property don't grow in future, then perfectly fine. All right, so we actually did a lot more research for her in this situation to kind of enhance her understanding about property. And I want to be totally transparent, right? This client is still ongoing, our consultations, all right? We have not finished yet. We just managed to get her not to purchase this property because of her own situation. All right, from a numbers perspective, she realized that she could have just gone into it and purchased 1.45 million and hold this property for the longest time without understanding why her property don't grow. How many of you agree that if, let's say, today you intend to buy something, it's always good to seek a second opinion to understand what is happening before you actually jump and make your decision? How many of you agree? You can just type in one in the chat or in the screen. All right, because today we all want to make sure that we buy a right property. Okay, whether the price, how is it going to be, it doesn't matter. But we want to make sure that we buy a right property. And one of the key things that why this property is performing the way it is. Okay, so through our research, we also realized a few things that I'm going to share with you in a very short while. All right, so what we realize is today, right, you must understand for HDB, okay, just to give you an example, a normal HDB unit, their size is always about 645 to 700. This is a normal 3-bedroom HDB. And a 4-room HDB is always 900 to 1,000 square feet. Okay? So of course, condo, because of the configuration, there are certain size differences. That one, it has always been the norm. So what happened is today when we do the research deeper into three residences, okay, what we realize is there are three, I'll just follow my arrow. There are three-bedroom residences. 3-bedroom, 3-bedroom is actually a 764 square foot unit. And today, 764, this is actually a 2-bedroom configuration. Okay, a 2-bedroom configuration. So follow me through. All right, I'm guiding you guys. All right, so any question, feel free. All right, just let me know. Okay, so today you must understand that although Trey is selling you a 3-bedroom unit at 764, typically it is still a 2-bedroom. It is still a 2-bedroom unit. So what are they trying to do? They are trying to sell you something that is big, but actually the size is smaller. So which is why properties in this the units in this property are not getting such a good response in terms of growth, and their potential for their profits are very, very minimum. Okay, because why? Today, let me ask every one of you. Today, if you're buying a 3-bedroom, do you agree that you actually at least you will need to have a proper kitchen? You need to have a proper kitchen, right? If you buy a 3-bedroom. So if you can see the layout of three residences for their 3-bedroom, can you see that the kitchen is actually open? It's an open concept kitchen. So the theory of normal stay configuration as a family, it may not work because this is an open concept kitchen. And if you are buying a 3-bedroom, likely you have a family of 3, 4, or even 5. You will do cooking at home. You need to have a proper kitchen, you see. But this configuration, they are giving you a open kitchen. So from the usability perspective, it's already wrong. All right. That's why there will always be reasons why a certain property is not performing well. That's why we need to research it deeper to understand what is happening before we can advise you further. And the size that she was supposed to look at, can you believe? A 4-bedroom dual key is only 947 square feet. So which means this is even smaller than the traditional 4-bedroom HDB. So 4-room HDB, if you ask me, is not the biggest. But now they are able to do it until like a 4-bedroom dual key. So can you see where the discrepancy is? You see? So even, yes, I have 4 bedrooms, but if let's say all your 4 bedrooms are all very small, it doesn't fit the purposes of you buying a 4-bedroom, right? So this is one of the main research that when we were looking at it and when we realized why is the property not performing well is because the functionality of the unit itself is already not as good. It doesn't properly function it like, for families. It's really, I don't know who can buy this property. Maybe you can buy the bedroom and then buy the unit and then you have to take out all the rooms because the rooms don't make sense. So from my understanding from her is that the 4-bedroom dual key, even the current owner also took out one room. Why? So that it can have a bigger space, whether it's a bigger room or something, So if the current owner who purchased this property right from the beginning already are doing it, what are the chances of the next buyer who's going to buy from you also are concerned about this matter? So when we are doing all this research, remember, my friends, property is not just about looking at the surveys. Many a times you may have to dive in deeper to understand what is actually happening before you actually make a decision. I think this is very, very crucial. All right, so when we do this research, we also realize that, well, actually, if you start buying into trail residences, there may be certain concerns because your property, may not be able to actually sell in future. Remember, just now we shared, whatever you buy, you need to actually look at how to sell. All right, so this is very, very crucial. Of course, we found out many, many different things, but eventually what happened is this $1.45 million mistake, okay, was not gone through. Okay, although the friend did introduce her that this is a property you can buy by hearing her. So at the last minute, at least she went on to seek our help to give her a second opinion. And right now we are still undergoing to see what selection that we can actually do for her. But this time around, we are going through systematically. All right. So just remember, it's not just about what you want, but sometimes you may have to study the numbers a little bit, study the comparison a little bit before you even start buying a property. Okay, and then I feel that this is definitely in very, very important. And of course, some of all these things, right, that I'm sharing with you, you can actually do it yourself, right? But of course, when you do it yourself, it will be a little bit more worrying because there may be blind spots that you are missing out. All right, you may be picking out the wrong property. You may not be able to know when you should be exiting from the property. So there are basically two options that you all can do. Whenever you all attend my weekly live streams, or if you're in the group, you've been reading up a lot of information on your own. You can actually try to do this alone, but it's going to be very worrying. You can always take this information and try to fill up the blanks yourself. No issue. Okay, I'm perfectly fine. That's why we have this community to help out each other. All right, but you must always understand everybody's situation is very different. And the last thing you want is like this client who listened to a friend, spend so much time, effort to really go and look into properties, and eventually the property that she has chosen is not ideal for her. And can you imagine if she had just purchased it already, and then she found us and noticed that actually the property you purchased is actually not so good? I think this is going to be very, very heartbreaking. All right, so that's not our intention. Our intention is that you have all the knowledge, all the skill set that we actually shared, that you can learn, you can do it yourself. But if you really want to do it systematically and correctly, then I urge you guys to actually simply just schedule a free call with us first. All right, share with us a little bit of your current property situation, and what kind of plans do you actually have in mind for your property, so that we can more or less actually guide you along on what can be done, what cannot be done. Because through this kind of plans, there's a lot more things that we can do for you. And perhaps you are thinking like, maybe you want to, there's an A route that you already kind of planned for with your family. But that's from your perspective, right? So my role is to really come in from a different perspective to share with you, hey, besides A, or there's actually perspective B, C, D that you haven't thought before. Why not look into B, C, D first, then decide which one you are most comfortable with for the family? And that's the reason why when we are doing this free call with you, it's really to get you ahead of your peers, to get you ahead, like maybe there are certain things that you're unaware of. Through this call, maybe you can get more clarity. And once you get more clarity, you are able to what? You're able to make a better decision. All right. So this is what we do on a weekly basis. Every single week, what we help for different families is that we allow at least minimum 5 new clients every single week. We onboard 5 new clients during this call, so that we can see that is there a way that we can actually help you, whether you are thinking of upgrading, maybe you are buying your first property, or perhaps you have a current investment property that's not performing well, what you should be doing for it. Or maybe even to the extent that you want to upgrade from a HDB to a private property, but you want to do it, but you are worried. Are you doing it correctly? Is your numbers correct? Are you over leveraging? Some of all these doubts and concerns that you have, then simply just schedule a free call with us. All right, this free call will definitely guide you on what can be done, what cannot be done once and for all, to have full clarity, in this current situation of yours. All right. So in a short while, all right, what we do in this free call is we will personalize an entire roadmap for you. And of course, we will also share with you like what are the key things that you should be taking note of. All right. So I'll be actually dropping down the link inside the different platforms so that you can also use this to your, and if you feel that you want to actually get more clarity in terms of your property, perhaps now is the best time for you to actually just click on the link. All right. You know, you fill it up. There's a series of questions, but don't need to do it right now. You can always do it later on because I'm not done yet. Okay. So I'll be following through with your Q&A. If you have any questions later on, maybe I'll spend about 5 minutes to answer all your questions. All right. So if you find that today you already have been looking at properties for a while and you haven't decided whether do you want to do it or not, perhaps now is the best time for you guys to actually schedule this call with us. And from there, we will be able to actually guide you step by step. Okay, because the very important part is that today, this call is to allow us to see, can we add value to you? Are we a good fit? Perhaps you have certain situations that maybe I also can't help. But if I can't, my team and I can't help, we will still direct you to the correct resources where you can continue to learn, or continue to maybe save small money, and then we see how we can go for you and help you. Okay. So of course we don't work with everybody. Okay, so because working with us do require time and effort on our end, so they are not free. Okay, our time is not free, our effort is not free. Okay, but because you are in this group, right, you are in this community, we also want to ensure that we are able to help as many people as possible in this community. And once you go onto the call, all right, this free call, you will be able to understand, do you really actually want to go ahead with property or not? All right, for those who are still here, all right, you can scan the QR code. If not, the link is already inside the group in the respective areas that you can actually scan. Or you can just click on the link and then you fill up a series of questions. All right, do help me out by giving me more information in the application, because the more information you give me, the more I can understand what is happening and the more I can see whether I can help you or not. Okay? All right, so with that, I just want to take the next 5 minutes to answer any questions that you have for me. Okay, so let me just do this. Let's see. Any questions that you have, feel free to just type in the chat or the content, the comment function. All right, so that I'll be able to see your questions. And let me try to do this a little bit. Okay. Yes. All right. Feel free to ask. All right. I'll give you about 1 minute to kind of think through what you want to ask, and then you can just put it in. And I'll be more than glad to actually guide you on what's. So for those who are joining me on first time live, we do our weekly live stream every Tuesday evening. All right. So that's where I will share, case studies like this. And like previous rounds, I share about what the market changes are. And I think moving forward, there's a lot more noises about property, and that we should be, as busy professionals and homeowners, we must be a little bit more careful about, like the rising interest rates, what's going to happen. Even though with COVID, with cooling measures, our prices are still climbing. What does that signify? All these informations, I think it will help us as busy professionals and homeowners to really acknowledge. First, we must always bridge our knowledge gap. Once we bridge it, it's easier for us to make better decisions in future. Okay? All right. So if there's no questions from you guys, I'll just give you guys another 60 seconds. If there's no question, I shall see you guys next week for our weekly live session. And feel free to comment inside the group. If you have any questions, there's ways that you can reach out to me and my team, and we can actually help you out with different type of research and to understand what is happening in terms of property to give you more clarity about property. All right. So with this today, we managed to kind of save a consumer, a single lady out there, to help her raise, $1.45 million for nothing lah. Okay. I think this is something that we treasure a lot. That if today she bought the 1.45 million property and then come to us, I think we can't do much. Okay, so I'm glad that she actually took the initiative to reach out to us, and we saved her 1.45 million by that mistake. Okay. So we have questions here. Natasha is actually asking, can new launch only new launch make money? Well, I think this is a blanket statement, right? I think this is also unfair to kind of comment that only new launch make money. Okay. In our thousands of units research, we did come across even new launches that don't make money. And there are always certain particular reasons why certain new launches don't make money. And there's a certain trends, certain pattern one. That's why when we do the resale and new launch, we must also be very, very careful. Even resale, there are resales that make money. There are also resales that don't make money. Same goes for new launch. New launch, majority of them make, but there are still a fraction of them that don't make. But the question is, what are the traits? What are the patterns that we are seeing that allow us to prevent that from happening? All right, so that's why when our clients go through research with us, when we go through the entire consultation, they are able to understand more, as we dive through, because everybody's situation is very different, right? But of course, if you are asking me from a very general perspective, the new launches profits, as I just now I shared with you, are actually much higher than the resale in general. So if the new launches are already climbing at about 30%, the resale generally are even less than 10%. So if you want to speed up your process of creating your wealth through using property quicker, maybe you may want to really determine what kind of objective you want to hit for, right? So there's nothing wrong with buying new or old, or new launch or resale property. It's just, what's your objective? Is your objective, what's your age? There's so much component. Of course, we will not be able to cover that today, but reach out to us, share with us a little bit of what your plans are, what kind of situation you're in, what kind of future objective you are actually thinking of. Then perhaps from there, I will be able to actually further advise you. All right. All right, with that, thank you so much for your evenings. I shall see you guys real soon in the group or whichever platforms that you can find me on. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Cheers.